The day I signed away my doctorate fund, I wore my lucky interview blazer. Stupid, really. There's no luck in a blazer when you're walking into an ambush. My name is Alexis, and I spent 6 years building that fund. Two jobs, data entry by day, waitressing at night. No vacations, no new clothes, definitely no dating. Just me, my tiny studio apartment, and a dream of becoming a trauma psychologist that kept me going through countless midnight shifts. 87,130,018 to be exact. Every penny accounted for, every extra dollar stretched and saved. Sweetheart, this is the opportunity of a lifetime, my father said, spreading glossy renderings across our dining room table. A luxury spa complex, prime location, guaranteed returns. His voice had that familiar smoothness, the one he used when closing business deals. I glanced at my mother, who was hovering nearby with an expectant smile. My sister Francesca sat opposite me, examining her manicure with practiced disinterest. The initial investment pool needs to be substantial, Dad continued. We're all contributing, as a family. All of us? I asked, my throat tight. Of course. Mom clasped her hands together. Your father's putting in his bonus, I'm using my inheritance, and Francesca's bringing her business expertise. I noticed she didn't mention actual money from Francesca. How much? I managed. Dad named a figure that matched my education fund down to the dollar. What a coincidence. It's perfect timing, Mom added quickly. Before you start that school thing, this way you'll have even more money for it later. I felt my phone buzz in my pocket. Probably Brinley texting to check if I was still coming for our planned study session. I'd have to cancel. Again. Can I see the business plan? I asked. Dad slid over a thick document. Already vetted by lawyers, top notch team. I flipped through it, my stomach churning. The numbers were there, but something felt off. 6 years of accounting work had taught me to spot creative mathematics. I need time to think about it, I said. The opportunity closes tomorrow, Dad replied sharply. Other investors are lined up. Alexis. Mom's voice softened to that guilt triggering tone I knew too well. Family has to come first. We've always taught you that. Francesca finally looked up. Don't be difficult, sis. We all have to pull our weight. Pull our weight? Right? Like when she borrowed my car last year and returned it with an empty tank. Or when she borrowed my laptop and spilled wine on it. Never paid me back for either. I stood up. I need to make a call. Alexis, Dad started, but I was already walking to the porch. My hands shook as I dialed Josephine, my former professor who'd become a mentor and friend. They want all of it, I whispered when she answered, for some spa investment. Don't sign anything, she said immediately. I'll be there in 20 minutes. True to her word, Josephine arrived with her briefcase and reading glasses. Dad's smile tightened when I introduced her as my legal advisor. Just a precaution, I said sweetly, for the family's protection, of course. 2 hours later, I watched my father sign the modified agreement. Josephine had insisted on adding what she called standard protective clauses. Mom kept wringing her hands, shooting worried glances at Dad, who clearly wanted to object but couldn't without looking suspicious. Congratulations, Josephine said professionally. I'll file these copies first thing tomorrow. That night, I sat on my bed, staring at the transfer confirmation, my entire future gone in one click. My phone lit up with a text from Brinley. Everything okay? I started typing. Just signed away my PhD fund to help family. No big deal. Deleted it. Started again. Remember when you said my family takes advantage? You were right. Deleted that too. Finally, I wrote, rain check on studying. Something came up with family. Her response was immediate. Again? Girl, you need boundaries. I looked at the legal documents spread across my bed. Oh, I had boundaries now, and a promissory note that would make a corporate lawyer weep. What my family didn't know, I'd learned from the best about documentation. Every email, every text, every family meeting, recorded and archived. 6 years of watching Francesca get bailed out taught me patience, and Josephine taught me something better, how to write a contract that could strangle someone with their own words. I carefully filed away the signed documents in my fireproof safe. Let them think I'm the same dutiful daughter, the reliable sister, the one who always says yes. For now. 3 weeks of silence. No updates, no emails, not even a group text about the investment. Just mom's usual forwards about family dinner and dad's weekly golf scores. I was elbow deep in receipts at my accounting job when my cousin Maria called. You coming to Uncle Rob's birthday dinner tonight? I'd completely forgotten. Yeah, I'll be there. Good, because I need someone sober to drive me home. This family drives me to drink. She wasn't kidding. By 8 o'clock, Maria was 3 glasses deep in red wine, leaning against me on Uncle Rob's back porch. It's just so unfair, she slurred. Francesca gets everything handed to her, even her store. Did you hear about the bailout? My hand tightened around my water glass. What bailout? The boutique was going under. Again. Maria rolled her eyes. But Daddy Dearest swooped in with some mystery investment. Lucky Girl gets another chance while the rest of us actually work for a living. The glass nearly slipped from my fingers. When did this happen? Like 3 weeks ago? Right after that big family meeting everyone was so hush hush about. I stood up so quickly Maria almost fell over. Through the sliding glass door, I could see Francesca holding court in the living room, showing off what looked like new designer boots. My mother intercepted me before I could reach her. Sweetheart, you look pale. Are you feeling all right? Where's the spa paperwork? I asked quietly. Her smile flickered. What? The investment documents, Mom. For the spa complex. Where are they? Oh, that's all being handled by your father's team. You know how these things are. There is no spa, is there? The silence stretched between us like a rubber band about to snap. Let's not do this here, she whispered. It's your uncle's birthday. Fine. Tomorrow, 9 a.m. My apartment. I turned to leave, but her hand caught my arm. Alexis, please. Family matters should stay private. I looked down at her manicured fingers, probably fresh from the salon Francesca owned. Private? Like the way you privately took my education fund? She released me like I'd burned her. The next morning, they all showed up Mom, Dad, and Francesca. Even Francesca's business partner, Gareth, tagged along, looking uncomfortable in an expensive suit. This is ridiculous, Francesca started. You're being dramatic. Show me the spa paperwork, I interrupted. Dad cleared his throat. The deal fell through. Really? When? These things happen in business, he said smoothly. Sometimes investments don't stop lying. I opened my laptop, turned it around. Here's the county business registry. No new spa applications, no permits, no nothing. Francesca shifted in her seat. Gareth suddenly found the ceiling fascinating. But here's what I did find. I clicked to another screen. $87, 432 and 8 cash injection into Francesca's Boutique LLC 3 weeks ago. Exact amount? Interesting coincidence. You went snooping through private business records? Dad's face darkened. Public records, Dad. Amazing what you can find when you know where to look. Mom stepped forward, hands raised placatingly. Sweetie, you have to understand. Your sister was in trouble, so you stole my future to bail her out. Again? We didn't steal anything, Francesca snapped. It was a family decision. I laughed. Actually laughed. A family decision? Like when you decided to take my car and wreck it? Or when you decided I should give up that summer internship to help at your store opening? That's enough. Dad stood up. We're your parents. We made a judgment call. You made a fraud call. I pulled out a folder. Here's your judgment. Full repayment within 30 days, or I enforce every clause in that contract you signed. Mom gasped. You wouldn't. Try me. This is insane. Francesca exploded. I'm your sister, and I'm done being your ATM. They left in a storm of threats and tears. Mom promised we'd talk when I calmed down. Dad mentioned something about ungrateful children. Francesca just glared. Only Gareth lingered, pretending to take a phone call while the others left. Alexis, he said quietly, maybe we can work something out. I smiled, the same smile I'd seen my father use countless times. We already did. It's called a promissory note. Tick-tock. After they left, I called Brinley. Remember when you said I needed boundaries? Yeah, I just built a wall. She was quiet for a moment. You okay? I looked at my laptop screen, at the trail of financial breadcrumbs I'd spent a week uncovering, At the evidence of years of manipulation I'd been too loyal to see. No, I said honestly, but I will be. Your father has three classic cars registered in his name, Josephine said, sliding the documents across her desk: a 1965 Mustang, 1970 Corvette, and a 1957 Thunderbird, total value around $300,000. I stared at the vehicle registrations. How did you? Public records, dear. The same ones he uses to intimidate his business rivals. She smiled. The Corvette's scheduled for the Heritage Auto Show next month. Would be a shame if someone filed a lien notice right before. The next week crawled by in a blur of legal paperwork and ignored calls from my family. Mom left tearful voicemails. Dad's messages got progressively angrier. Francesca switched between threats and guilt trips via text. I was at my desk, reviewing the final draft of the demand letter, when my mother showed up unannounced. "We need to talk," she said, walking in like she owned my apartment. "The time for talking was before you stole my money." "Don't be crude." She perched on my couch, smoothing her designer skirt. "We're trying to understand your perspective, but you're making it very difficult." "My perspective?" I turned to face her. "Okay, here it is. You lied to me, took my education fund, and gave it to Francesca. Again. We didn't think you'd hold us to it. We're your parents. That's the problem, isn't it? You never think I'll hold anyone accountable." She sighed dramatically. "Your father is very upset. This could affect his health." "Emotional blackmail won't work anymore, Mom. It's not blackmail to care about family." She stood up, voice rising. "Everything we've done has been for this family." "No, everything you've done has been for Francesca." "That's not fair." "Really? Remember when I got that scholarship to study abroad, but oh no, Francesca was going through a breakup and needed me home, or when I wanted to move out for college, but Francesca needed a roommate for her first apartment. She's your sister, and I'm your daughter." The words exploded out of me. "But you've never treated me like one. I'm just the backup plan, the reliable one, the ATM." Mom's face crumpled into practiced tears. "How can you say such things?" "Because they're true. And now you're going to pay me back." "We can't possibly." "Dad's cars can." She froze. "You wouldn't dare." "The demand letter goes out tomorrow. 30 days to pay in full, or I start placing liens. First the Corvette, then the Mustang, then the T-Bird. Your father loves those cars." I loved my dream too. She left in tears, but I noticed they dried up pretty quickly once she reached her car. The next morning, I had barely sat down at work when Francesca burst into my office. "You're going to destroy everything," she screamed, mascara already running. My coworkers stared. I led her to the break room. "Lower your voice." "Do you know what you're doing?" she hissed. "Dad's cars are his life, his reputation in the collector's community. Should have thought about that before using my money to bail out your failing business. I was desperate. The boutique is everything to me. And my doctorate was everything to me. Funny how that worked out." She grabbed my arm. "Please, Alexis, I'll pay you back slowly. I promise." "Like you promised to pay me back for the car? The laptop? The rent money?" "That was different." "No, it wasn't. You've been taking and taking for years because you knew I wouldn't fight back. Well, surprise. Mom says you're just jealous because I'm more successful." I laughed. "Successful? Your boutique is hemorrhaging money. The only reason you're still open is because of my savings." "You bitch," she whispered. "You've always been jealous of me." "No, Francesca. I've always been used by you. There's a difference." Later that night, I received an email from Dad's lawyer attempting to dispute the promissory note. I forwarded it to Josephine. Her response came minutes later. "Their lawyer's good, but I'm better. Sleep well." I poured a glass of wine and opened my laptop. The Heritage Auto Show website showed Dad's Corvette as a featured entry. Below it was a form for filing legal notices. My phone buzzed, a text from Brinley. "How's the war going?" I looked at the legal notice form, thought about Dad's precious cars, about years of being the family doormat. "Remember how they always said I was too nice?" I texted back. "Yeah? Not anymore." I clicked submit on the legal notice. Tomorrow, Dad would discover his prized Corvette had a very public problem. Sometimes being nice means being quiet, but sometimes justice needs to make some noise. News travels fast in collector car circles. By the end of the week, Dad's country club buddies were whispering about the lien. Then someone leaked Francesca's boutique financials to the family WhatsApp group. Aunt Linda called it creative accounting. Uncle Rob was less diplomatic. Who runs a business this badly? I was grabbing coffee before work when I overheard two women at the counter. Did you see Francesca's Instagram? All those designer posts and her stores basically bankrupt. I heard her daddy's cars are getting seized. I smiled into my latte. Karma was percolating nicely. The real surprise came at the Metropolitan Legal Conference. I was there representing my accounting firm when I literally bumped into him. Alexis? I knew that voice. Samir, my ex from undergrad, still unfairly handsome in his tailored suit. Hey, I managed. Didn't expect to see you here. I'm presenting on contract law. He smiled that same smile that used to make my knees weak. Getting coffee after? For old time's sake? I almost said no. Then I remembered seeing his name somewhere in my research. Sure, why not? Over coffee, he was all charm and carefully casual questions about my family. Heard about your sister's boutique troubles? He said. Tough break. Yeah, investments gone wrong. His hand tightened slightly around his cup. Interesting. Speaking of investments, I kept my voice light. Didn't you do some work with Gareth Fuller recently? Coffee nearly spilled. How did you? Small world, right? My sister's business partner hiring my ex boyfriend as his lawyer. Coincidence? Alexis, I can explain. Please do. Explain how you helped draft fake investment documents to defraud me. He glanced around nervously. Not here. Your office. 1 hour. His corner office screamed junior partner ambitions. He closed the door, loosened his tie. It wasn't personal, he started. Creating fake documents to steal my money feels pretty personal. Gareth hired me to draft standard investment papers. I didn't know they were for you until after. Bullshit. I pulled out my phone. You addressed the preliminary documents to me specifically, 2 months before the family meeting. His face went pale. How did you get those? I'm good at my job, Samir. Really good. Want to know what else I found? He sat heavily in his chair. Three similar investment opportunities in the past year, all targeting people's savings, all using the same template you drafted. You can't prove. Actually, I can, and the Bar Association would be very interested. What do you want? Everything. Every email, every document, every conversation with Gareth about this scam. He'll kill me. The Bar Association will do worse. He opened his laptop with shaking hands. Give me an hour. That night, I sat in my apartment reading through Samir's files. The whole scam laid bare. Gareth using Francesca's boutique to launder money, my parents getting a cut for bringing in investors, Samir providing legal cover. My phone buzzed, an unknown number. Is this Alexis? A panicked voice. I'm calling from Francesca's boutique. She's on the floor and not responding. What? She was screaming about ruined lives, then just collapsed. The ambulance is coming, but she kept saying your name. My hand tightened on the phone. Which hospital? Memorial General. Please hurry. I grabbed my keys, then stopped. Was this another manipulation? Another trap? My phone buzzed again. Gareth. Your sister's in the hospital, he said roughly. Happy now? What happened? What happened? You happened. The lien, the leaked financials, the rumors, it all got to her. She had a breakdown. Not my problem. No? Tell that to your parents. They're beside themselves. I ended the call, stared at my reflection in the dark window. In the glass, I saw my mother's face, heard her voice. Family has to come first. But families don't steal from each other. They don't lie and manipulate and gaslight. My phone lit up with a text from Brinley. Heard about Francesca. You okay? No. Yes. Maybe. Another text came through. From Mom. Your sister needs you. Please. I thought about Francesca lying in a hospital bed, about years of resentment and rivalry, about the satisfaction of watching my family's perfect facade crumble. On my way, I texted back. Not because they deserved it, not because I forgave them, but because I needed to see their faces when they realized this changed nothing. The promissory note was still in effect. The lien was still active, and now I had proof of their larger scam. Sometimes rock bottom has a basement. Memorial General's emergency room reeked of disinfectant and desperation. Mom paced the waiting area while Dad argued with a nurse about family only visiting hours. They both froze when they saw me. Oh, thank God, Mom rushed over. She's been asking for you. Had she? Or was this another manipulation? What happened? Panic attack, Dad said gruffly. She was going through the boutique's papers and just collapsed. A doctor approached with a clipboard. She's stabilized, 2 visitors at a time. Mom grabbed my arm. Come on. Francesca lay in the hospital bed looking small and pale, her designer outfit replaced by a blue gown, an IV dripped steadily beside her. Lexi? Her voice was raspy. You came? Yeah. I stayed by the door while Mom fussed with her pillows. I'm sorry, Francesca whispered. About everything. Sorry because she meant it, or sorry because she got caught. The boutique's finished, she continued. Gareth cleaned out the accounts and disappeared. Mom gasped. What? He's been stealing for months. I was too scared to tell anyone. Tears rolled down Francesca's cheeks. I thought I could fix it with Alexis's money. You should have told us, Mom said. Like you told me about the fake investment? I couldn't help asking. Mom flinched. A nurse came in to check Francesca's vitals. She needs rest. You can come back tomorrow. In the hallway, Dad pulled me aside. We need to talk. About what? The fraud? The lies? Or how about Samir helping you set it all up? His face reddened. You talked to Samir? I have everything, Dad. The fake documents, the emails, the whole scheme. How many other people did you and Gareth scam? It's not what you think. Really? Because it looks like fraud. Wonder what the police would think. You wouldn't dare. Try me. I'm done being the family doormat. He grabbed my arm. Listen here. No, you listen. I yanked free. You have 24 hours to transfer my money back. Every penny, or I'm taking everything to the authorities. You'd destroy this family over money? You already did that when you stole from me. I turned to leave, but stopped. Oh, and Dad? The Corvette's just the beginning. I wonder what your car club buddies will say when they learn the truth about their trusted treasurer. His face went pale. Outside, the night air felt clean compared to the hospital's stuffiness. My phone buzzed. Brinley, you out yet? Yeah. Come over. I have wine and zero judgment. I found her on her balcony with 2 glasses and a sympathetic smile. Spill. So I did. About Francesca's collapse, Gareth's disappearance, the larger scam. Holy shit, she whispered. Your family's like a soap opera. More like a horror show. I took a long sip. Am I terrible for not feeling guilty? They stole your future, Lex. You're allowed to be angry. My phone lit up. An email from Samir. Found more evidence. Gareth and your father ran this scheme 3 times before. Different businesses, same pattern. One victim lost their retirement fund. Meeting tomorrow? I showed Brinley. Your dad's going down, she said quietly. Yeah. You okay with that? I thought about years of manipulation, of Francesca's fake tears and Mom's guilt trips, of Dad's constant dismissal of my dreams. They made their choice, I said. Now they can live with it. Later that night, I sat at my desk reviewing Samir's new files. Each document was another nail in my family's coffin, another victim of their greed. My phone buzzed, Francesca calling from the hospital. There's something you need to know, she said without preamble. About Grandma's trust fund. What about it? The money she left for your education. I took it. Years ago. Dad helped me hide it. The wine glass in my hand cracked. You what? I was desperate. The first boutique was failing, and Dad said you'd never know because you were too busy with your scholarships. I ended the call. All those years of working double shifts, of skipping vacations, of living on ramen while saving every penny. And they had stolen my inheritance too. I opened my laptop and started typing an email to Josephine. Need your help with one more thing. Time to go nuclear. Her response came quickly. Finally, let's burn it all down. I looked at the family photo on my desk, all of us smiling at last Christmas. Such a perfect facade. Time to shatter it completely. The trust fund documents lay spread across Josephine's desk like evidence at a crime scene. 6 years of bank statements, transfer records, and doctored paperwork. They did a decent job hiding it, Josephine said, adjusting her glasses. But your grandmother's original will is clear. The money was explicitly for your education. How much? With interest? Almost $200,000. My legs went weak. All those extra shifts I'd worked, all those nights I'd stayed up calculating how to stretch my savings. What do we do? Josephine smiled grimly. We go after everything. I visited Francesca in the hospital that afternoon. She'd been moved to the psychiatric ward after what the doctors called acute anxiety with depressive features. You look terrible, I said, sitting beside her bed. Thanks. She tried to smile. Always the honest one, weren't you? Unlike some people. She picked at her blanket. I guess you know about Grandma's money now. Why, Francesca? You already had everything. Not everything. Her voice cracked. Not Dad's respect. Not real success. The boutique was supposed to prove I could make it on my own. By stealing from me? I was going to pay it back once the store took off, but it never did because you're terrible at business. Tears rolled down her cheeks. I know I am. Everyone expected me to be this amazing success story, Mom's beautiful daughter, Dad's business prodigy. Well, I was just the reliable backup plan. No. She grabbed my hand. You were the smart one, the capable one. Do you know how terrifying that was? Watching you succeed at everything while I kept failing? I pulled my hand away. So you decided to sabotage me? I decided to take shortcuts, and then more shortcuts. And then Gareth showed up with his schemes, and Dad was so proud of my business acumen. Where's Gareth now? Probably in Mexico. He emptied the business account last week. A nurse appeared with medication. I stood to leave. Alexis, Francesca called. I really am sorry. I know, but sorry doesn't fix this. In the hallway, I ran into Mom. She looked older, worn down. Your father's not well, she said without preamble. His blood pressure? Stop. Just stop with the guilt trips. It's not a guilt trip. He's really sick. The stress of everything. The stress of getting caught, you mean? She grabbed my arm. Please, we can work something out. We're family. Family? I laughed. You stole my inheritance. You watched me work multiple jobs for years, knowing I had money sitting in a trust fund. We were protecting you from yourself. You and these crazy dreams of becoming a doctor. Protecting me? You were controlling me, keeping me dependent. Well, guess what? It ends now. I pulled out my phone, showed her the email I'd drafted. This goes to every member of Dad's car club tomorrow. Full details of the fraud scheme, plus copies to the local business journal. Her face went white. You wouldn't. Try me. Oh, and the police get their copy too. Fraud over $100,000 is a felony, Mom. We'll lose everything. Like I lost my future? She started crying. Real tears this time, not the performative ones I'd grown up with. What do you want? Everything. The trust fund money, my savings, with interest, and Francesca signs over her share of Grandma's estate to me. That's all we have left. Should have thought of that before becoming criminals. I walked away as she slid down the wall, sobbing. My phone buzzed. Brinley, you okay? No, but I will be. That night, I sat in my apartment looking at old family photos, Christmases, birthdays, vacations, all those smiling faces hiding so many lies. My phone lit up with texts. Dad, please don't do this. I'm begging you. Mom, think about your sister's condition. Francesca, I'll sign whatever you want. I thought about the scared teenager I'd been, working midnight shifts while my trust fund sat locked away. About the family that watched me struggle and said nothing. I opened my laptop and started typing, Dear members of the Heritage Car Club, sometimes family isn't about blood, sometimes it's about justice. And justice was about to get very, very expensive. The Heritage Car Show was Dad's favorite event of the year. He'd spent months polishing that Corvette, bragging about its original parts, its perfect restoration. Now he stood watching as officers placed seizure notices on his prized possession. You can't do this, he kept saying. Not here, not today. but I could, and I did. His car club friends whispered and pointed. Some held up phones, recording. The email I'd sent had spread like wildfire through their community. Words like fraud and scam floated through the crowd. Alexis. He grabbed my arm. Please, I'll sell it privately. Just not like this. I pulled free. Should have paid what you owed. I'm your father. No, you're just another criminal who got caught. His face went red, then gray. He stumbled, clutching his chest. Dad? Despite everything, my heart jumped. Can't breathe. Someone called an ambulance. Mom arrived as they loaded him into it, screaming about how this was all my fault. You happy now? She spat. You finally broke him. I watched them drive away, blue lights flashing. My phone buzzed. Brinley. Saw the news? You okay? He had a heart attack at the car show. Shit. Bad? Minor, according to the paramedics, but Mom's playing it up for maximum guilt. Classic her. I walked through the dispersing crowd to where Josephine waited. The seizure's legal, she said. They can fight it, but they won't win. What about the trust fund investigation? Police are very interested. Turns out your father's creative accounting went beyond just your inheritance. My phone kept lighting up with messages from relatives, some supportive, most horrified. Aunt Linda called me heartless. Uncle Rob said he'd suspected Dad's schemes for years. I visited the hospital that evening, found Mom in the waiting room with Francesca, who'd been released from the psychiatric ward that morning. Mild cardiac event, Mom said stiffly. No permanent damage, no thanks to you. Francesca wouldn't meet my eyes. The police called me today about the trust fund. And I told them everything about Dad helping me hide it, about the other schemes. Mom gasped. You did what? I'm tired of lying, Mom. Tired of pretending we're perfect. A doctor approached with papers. Mr. Price can go home tomorrow, but he needs to avoid stress. Mom laughed bitterly. Stress? His own daughter is destroying him. No, I said quietly. He destroyed himself. Back home, I found an envelope in my mail. Inside was a check, the full amount of my savings plus interest, and a note from Dad. You win. The trust fund money will follow. Just stop the investigation. Please. Dad, I called Josephine. They paid. The initial amount, yes, but the trust fund fraud is criminal. That's out of our hands now. Good. My phone lit up. Francesca, did you get Dad's money? Yes. The police want me to testify about everything. I sat down heavily. Are you going to? Yes, I'm done covering for him, for all of us. Silence stretched between us. I really am sorry, Lexi, for everything. I know. Think we'll ever be okay? I thought about years of resentment, of competition and lies. I don't know. That night, I sat at my desk staring at a letter, an acceptance to the doctoral program I'd dreamed of. It had arrived that morning, lost in the chaos of Dad's heart attack and the car seizure. My phone buzzed. Brinley. Dinner? You shouldn't be alone tonight. I looked at the acceptance letter again, at the check from Dad, at a photo of my grandmother on my desk. Actually, I texted back, I'm not alone anymore. I've got myself back. The next morning, the local paper's business section ran the story. Prominent businessman under investigation for fraud. Below it, a photo of Dad's Corvette being towed from the car show. Mom called, crying. I let it go to voicemail. Francesca texted, police interview tomorrow, scared but ready. I opened my laptop and started typing my acceptance email to the doctoral program. Sometimes victory tastes like ashes, but sometimes it tastes like freedom. I hit send on the email, then opened my banking app. Dad's repayment had cleared. The trust fund investigation was proceeding. My future was mine again. In my inbox, another email arrived from the police detective handling the case. Time to finish what I started. The courtroom felt smaller than I expected. Dad sat at the defendant's table, shoulders slumped in his once pristine suit. Mom wasn't there. She'd stopped attending after the first hearing. Francesca took the stand, her hands shaking as she detailed years of financial manipulation. Dad stared at the floor as his golden child dismantled his carefully constructed image. The trust fund was just the beginning. She testified. There were other investors, other schemes. Dad said it was just business, but I watched him crumble with each revelation. The great manipulator, finally manipulated by truth. During the recess, he approached me in the hallway. You could still stop this, he whispered. Tell them you want to drop the charges. That's not how criminal cases work, Dad. You know that. I did it all for the family. No, you did it for yourself, for your ego. He aged 10 years in that moment. I'll lose everything. Like I almost lost my future? Back inside, the judge delivered the sentence 18 months plus restitution. Dad would serve his time in minimum security, but his reputation was already serving life. Outside the courthouse, Francesca caught up to me. Moving to Arizona next week, she said. Fresh start. Good luck? I mean it this time. The fresh start. No more schemes, no more lies. She hesitated. Maybe? Maybe we can talk sometimes. I looked at my sister. Really looked at her. The designer clothes were gone, replaced by simple business wear. The artificial confidence replaced by something more genuine. Maybe, someday. Mom was waiting by my car. Happy now? She asked. Your father's going to prison. He sent himself to prison. I just exposed the truth. The truth? She laughed bitterly. The truth is, you destroyed this family. No, Mom. The family destroyed itself. I just refused to be collateral damage anymore. I drove to my grandmother's grave, placed the court documents against her headstone. Got it all back, Grandma, plus interest. Hope you're proud. My phone buzzed. Brinley. Verdict? Guilty. Prison time. You at the cemetery? How'd you know? Because I know you. Coming to get you. First round's on me. Later, at our favorite bar, Brinley raised her glass. To justice. To consequences, I corrected. My phone lit up with a text from Josephine. Doctoral program called. They're holding your spot for spring semester. I showed Brinley. Look who's going to be Dr. Alexis. She grinned. If I still want it. Do you? I thought about the past months. The anger, the vindication, the cost. Yeah, but not for the reasons I did before. Oh? Before, I wanted to prove something. To them. To myself. Now. I smiled. Now, I just, want it for me. My phone buzzed again. Francesca. Found more of Dad's documents in the boutique. Police want to see them. Should I? I typed back. Truth sets you free. Her response came quickly. Speaking of free, I signed over my inheritance rights. Check your email. Brinley watched me read the documents. You okay? Getting there. We ordered another round. Outside, the sun was setting on the city where my family's empire had crumbled, where I'd finally stood up and said enough. My phone buzzed one last time. Mom, your father wants to see you before they take him tomorrow. I didn't respond. Some bridges stay burned, some families stay broken. But sometimes broken things make way for stronger replacements. I raised my glass to Brinley. To new foundations? To new foundations, she echoed. Tomorrow, I'd start my doctoral applications. Next week, I'd help Francesca pack for Arizona. Next month, Dad would start his sentence. But tonight I sat with my best friend, feeling the weight of secrets and lies finally lift from my shoulders. Feeling free. My phone lit up with another message from my grandmother's old number. Mom must have finally canceled it. The automated text read, This number is no longer in service. I smiled. Some endings are really beginnings in disguise. One more round? Brinley asked. One more round, I agreed. Outside, the city lights twinkled like stars, like possibilities, like truth. I was ready for all of it.